Introduction to Azure Synapse SDK. Azure Synapse SDK is a set of libraries and tools that allow developers to interact with Azure Synapse Analytics programmatically. This guide will walk you through the process of getting started with Azure Synapse SDK and provide practical examples of its usage. Setting up Azure Synapse SDK. To start using Azure Synapse SDK, you need to install the required libraries. You can do this by running the installation command in your preferred package manager. Once installed, you can import the library into your project and start using its functions. Key concepts. The Azure Synapse SDK provides several key concepts that you should understand before using it. These include data pipelines, data lakes, and data warehouses. Data pipelines are used to transfer data between different sources and destinations. Data lakes are centralized repositories that store raw unprocessed data. Data warehouses are repositories that store processed data in a structured format. Practical examples. One of the most common use cases for Azure Synapse SDK is to create and manage data pipelines. You can use the SDK to create a new pipeline and add activities to it, such as data transfer and data transformation. You can also use the SDK to manage existing pipelines and monitor their execution. Best practices. When using Azure Synapse SDK, there are several best practices you should follow. These include handling errors and exceptions properly and using logging and monitoring to track the execution of your pipelines. You should also use security and authentication mechanisms to protect your data and credentials. Conclusion. In this guide, we have covered the basics of Azure Synapse SDK and provided practical examples of its usage. We have also discussed key concepts and best practices that you should follow when using the SDK. By following this guide, you can get started with Azure Synapse SDK and start building and managing your own data pipelines and data warehouses.